Hi, Mr. Malley. Thank you for joining our program today.
Thank you.
Well, as head of the CPA Australia, can you tell our audience what is your big plan in Hong Kong and China?
Yes, look, we've been involved in Hong Kong and China for over 20 years, and we've had substantive interests in the profession and the development and support of the profession in this region. So we see that as a key part of our global strategy, and we've enjoyed for a long time working locally with professionals and looking at this stage at having 11,000 members currently in the region, and that's obviously growing, and also encouraging investment between the countries and ways in which we can do that.
Well, talking about accounting reform, in Hong Kong we are talking about this liability reform that you said how much maximum penalty will an accountant need to bear in the audit failure of a listed company. Are there any similar model in Australia we can refer to?
Yes, we've had discussions about that in the past. In 2005 we approved some reform in that area with a cap of 75 million. Much of the debate was around why companies fail, and the vast majority of cases companies fail because of their management. And quite often there are stakeholder groups and professional groups in and around that company that have not contributed to the failure at all, but somehow are involved in the analysis of it. So we believe that there needs to be a cap, because in most cases they're not central reasons for the company failure. So we're certainly comfortable for that to be something to consider as part of Hong Kong's analysis of other models around the world.
Well, on another accounting reform, we are talking about these mark-to-market rules. Some people criticize that this mark-to-market rule actually deepened the financial crisis. Do you agree?
Not at all. At CPA Australia we've been very strong about the mark-to-market's the appropriate approach. And during the crisis I made several public statements about the fact that the people who were concerned about mark-to-market in the global crisis were not making the same level of concern when market asset values were inflated. So you can't select an accounting system that suits you when the market's strong and then change it when the market's not. So we believe in the substance of the valuation of mark-to-market, and when there is no market and there's no real ability to value an asset, then we need to tell the market that that's the case.
Globally, do you think we should all develop a single set of accounting and auditing standards so that we can encourage more companies to have cross-border listing?
I certainly believe that, and I think the examples going on around the world at the moment signify an intent for us to have international global standards. I don't think we should underestimate the challenge of bringing together so many countries to come to a concert position on accounting reports. However, there has been some very positive steps forward, and increasingly countries are looking at that from the point of view of the global investor. So as the future unfolds, every global investor should be able to compare a set of accounts from wherever the country is based and be able to make a fair comparison with other investment opportunities in other parts of the world.
I think Australia and Hong Kong are the two major markets still not yet have quarterly reporting, because our companies still only need to report their results every 6 months. Do you agree with quarterly reporting?
Look, I think that there's a variety of opinions on the amount of times and the frequency of times that you report. I think the important issue is that you are maintaining a communication with your shareholders and your community. So what you'll find is in both markets and in other markets in the world, there are other ways that companies communicate their activities. And I think you've got to balance what is too much information for shareholders and what's reasonable. I think the substance of the information, the clarity of the communication, and perhaps maintaining some newsletter approach to what's going on in the organisation is probably a healthy balance. The actual frequency I then think subject to each market and what seems to suit it.
Well, that's very useful indeed. Thank you very much for joining our program today.
Thank you very much, Enoch.